Good evening, this is Atmospheric Alex here, and welcome to a U.S. weather forecast outlook and discussion. I am so glad to announce that we're no longer under a level of concern of a 5 out of 5. We have finally relaxed back down again, but hold fast, we do have potentially a major storm system to track that could impact portions of the East Coast later on this week. Could we be talking about a major nor'easter associated with a massive blizzard, or will it just fizzle out and basically be nothing at all? Find out in today's video. As we take a look at our current analysis data, talk about a lot of snow across the Northeast. I mean, wow, it's like that every single video, isn't it? And then especially across the Great Lakes as well, we have some snow, some lake effect snow going on, and then some nice snow showers here across, portions of the Appalachian Mountains. East Tennessee, you actually got on with some snow squalls earlier on this afternoon, which was associated with a massive positively tilted trough that was moving into your area with a ton of energy. And I kind of figured you all would have a snow chance today despite the models not saying anything, and maybe I should have said something about that too, because it kind of flew under the radar, if you will. Now here's a current look at our alerts. We have cold, extreme cold warnings across a lot of areas where wind chills will be below zero tonight. In fact, well below zero. Could have some areas down to -10, -15, even -20 degree wind chills. As very serious. We even have cold weather alerts going into Florida, so it is just a really rough time out there for a lot of you all that are dealing with this cold air, and it's not going anywhere. Wasn't joking about this potential winter storm going into, say, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where we do have minor winter weather impacts being possible across portions of the South as we head into the 30th. Then as we head into the 31st, it becomes a lot more widespread here. We're talking around a 40 to a 50% chance of minor winter weather impacts across Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, the southeastern U.S. there, really getting on the action. As we head into the 1st of February, look at that. We're talking around a 50 to a 60% chance in North Carolina. That is when our winter storm could unfold, and then the New England areas too could be getting in on some of the action as well. And we're going to have to wait and see, does this trend off to the north and west just a little bit, or is it going to stay locked in, glued in along the East Coast? There's a lot to figure out. By the way, for your information, if you do hear some water running in the background, it's because it is currently 5 degrees outside by me. So I'm having to kind of drip the faucets here. It is going to be really cold tonight. Could get down to 0, if not even -1. And you're about to see that here on our European model with our temperatures here. Temperatures as we go into tonight are going to be absolutely frigid out there. Take a look at this. Really, we're going to be focusing in on Tuesday morning. You could see, though, temperatures were cold, barely even cracking above 0 degrees in some areas today. But tonight, look at all that cold air. It's going to be really extreme. As we switch quickly over to our HRRR model, we're going to do this on the fly, because I do believe it is showing a more reasonable output here. Yeah, here we go, right within here. You can see we do have negative temperatures even extending down into West Tennessee, being possible into tonight across your northern U.S. Temperatures in your negatives, and very, very cold even getting along your Gulf coastline. But we're going to quickly advance past this here at our 12C data and move on through with our European model. Cold air is going to stick around. Talk about lows near -15 degrees going into tomorrow night. Holy smokes, across your Midwest regions. Cold air continues to funnel in. We're talking about a reinforcing shot, and holy cow, as we get into Friday morning, -30 degree temperatures are possible up here across Minnesota, North Dakota here. Very cold elsewhere. When we get our system kind of cranking off your East Coast, temperatures will be in the mid to low teens, and it could be snowing in some of those areas. Look at this. Temperatures continue to be really cold here into the negatives across portions of your Mississippi Valley, portions of your Midwest Ohio Valley, into your Great Lakes as well. Holy cow, even temperatures in the teens along your Gulf Coast here, and temperatures getting below freezing going deep into Florida as well, even into Orlando. Could be talking about some frost warnings near Miami, Florida. This is going to be some extreme cold, folks, that you all are not used to down here. I mean, holy cow. As cold weather does continue here for quite a bit longer, could see a brief moderation period, temperatures in the 30s and the 40s. It's going to feel like summer compared to what we've been seeing. I mean, you might have to break out the shorts, and finally it starts to warm up a bit more. But again, we don't know what's going to happen. I really do think, though, after that brief moderation period, it's going to come crashing right back down again, and we're going to be in for a very active pattern as we head into mid-February. As opposed to our precipitation chart here, going to kind of go through this pretty quickly. Here is your system of snow. South Carolina, North Carolina. We got a bombing low pressure system off your coast here. Look at that. 972 millibars. That may be slightly overdone, but a very powerful nor'easter is going to be possible, bringing very strong winds and maybe some heavy snowfall along portions of your North Carolina coast, even South Carolina coast as well. As that begins to advance further off, 964 millibars, getting some snow up here into New England. Think about this. What if this system here is a little bit further off to the northwest? We would be talking about very significant damaging impacts here across your New England and mid-Atlantic areas. Damaging winds, extremely heavy snow. That would be a very serious situation, so we need to watch out where this storm system goes. It could be a very powerful one. That moves on through. Anything after that, maybe a light clipper system here across portions of your Ohio Valley. I do think we're going to see our occasional snow flurry, maybe snow showers here across your Ohio Valley regions. Maybe some other energy tries to get organized. And I do think our nor'easter pattern could set up a bit as well. We're going to have to watch out for that. There's a ton of energy flying around. What could happen? Nobody knows. Temperatures on our GFS model here, definitely going to be cold. Look at that, negative 15 up there for Pittsburgh. That is going to be frigid. And then as we watch, how our next Arctic outbreak unfolds, especially going into Florida, let's keep an eye on this here. The GFS model wants freezing temperatures to the Everglades. That is honestly remarkable, and I don't think I've seen data like that in a while. Down into the upper 30s, getting near the Keys of Florida, that is remarkable. Continuing through, still stays really cold down there, really cold up here, really cold everywhere. You're going to be wearing a winter jacket for a very long time across your U.S. Finally, again, our moderation period could set up at our GFS a lot more keen on our cold air returning, and I actually would favor a scenario almost kind of like this, though we're going to have to wait and see as time continues on. With our precipitation here from our GFS, you can see our little piece of energy. I do expect this to be a little stronger and forecasted, but definitely could be seeing a light snowfall event across Kansas, Missouri, West Tennessee, maybe Arkansas there, and sliding and slipping on through. And then you do get some associated moisture. Look at that nice little winter storm there off the coast. Really, this low pressure system ramps up fast. And we're talking about, once again, a winter storm here across your New England areas. And then after this, what are we going to wind up seeing? Maybe some more snow for other areas as well. With our cold air coming down, could be talking about another system or two. Like we could see something fire up here and try and move across, and then that. We have a lot of stuff to look out for. As we quickly take a look at our snowfall mean from our European ensemble, very, very loud signal here. Across your northeast, mid-Atlantic, and portions of your southeastern U.S., look at some of that snow there. Talking on this particular model, this is not a forecast, around 5 to 7 inches of snow in coastal North Carolina. I don't really believe that's going to happen just yet, but we definitely could be talking about some snow there. New England, yeah, you're going to be pretty snowed in from this particular system, potentially, especially along your coast. And then, yeah, your GFS ensemble, pretty loud as well. Not quite as aggressive as your European ensemble, but still lots of snow potentially on the way. What about after that? Because we're still trying to figure everything out. All I'm going to say is we're going to be entering a very favorable pattern yet again, potentially, after all this cold air moves on out. There's your jet extension there, your lobe of kind of lower pressure right there at your 500 millibar levels, so in your mid to upper levels. Moving across, this is essentially your storm system right there that is going to be throwing back a ton of moisture and providing plentiful snowfall for potentially your coastal areas into your New England areas. And after that, take a look at this. look at your ridging out here in the west. I gotta point this out. It's tall spiking ridge out here and a pretty deep trough digging right here. What is this going to do essentially? This is going to cause warmer and much calmer weather here across your western US and colder, much stormier weather across your eastern US. And this begins to retrograde and we get a really intense period of blocking up here near Greenland. And that is going to support a really cold and potentially snowy pattern for your eastern US. As you can see at the end, this extends even more, and we could be talking about a very active storm track here, potentially bringing snow across portions of, of your central U.S., like your Midwest, Ohio Valley, Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and even Southeast, Mid-South U.S. In this particular pattern, you would definitely be talking about some snow being possible. And then your subtropical jet really, really ramping up here as well. You do not have higher heights across these areas, which means lower pressure blobs are going to be moving into this very cold and stormy environment. How about after that on your really long range extended here from your European model? So we already said how things are going to be getting a lot more stormy potentially as we head into early February. But after this, take a look at mid-February. Look at this right here. We have a really nice ridge of high pressure up into your Aleutians of Alaska. That is a really nice, look, tall spiking ridge all the way up there. And a lot of lower pressure. Look at this. A massive gargantuan trough begins to develop here. And we're going to be talking about potentially a lot of storm systems potentially riding underneath this and maybe causing a much snowier pattern. I mean, we just saw a historic winter storm. But what if I told you that was extra credit? Remember, a week ago, or maybe even more than a week ago, that wasn't even on the models. We weren't tracking a storm system, we were tracking a time frame, which was specifically late January through mid-February. So what we got lately was extra credit. This right here, I do believe, is going to be the pattern that we're all going to be interested in here. Look at all of this energy flying on through. I mean, storm after storm in a pattern like this, and you really have to start to wonder. We could see this break down by March, but we're going to have to wait and see, but it looks pretty active as we head into early, mid to late February. And here on our pressure chart here, our MSLP basically, you can see we do have areas of lower pressure. Like right within here, we have a nice little low pressure system gliding across like this with really cold air bogging down on your systems. And that could cause a much more snowy pattern. This continues. Look at your areas of lower pressure here. And then, as you can see over here, your areas of higher pressure. So this is very, very, very intriguing for winter weather lovers here. Definitely could be locked into a wintry pattern for this foreseeable future. And like I said before, our temperatures are going to support it. If we look at our low-level temperature anomalies here, look at that. Definitely seeing a clear route of Arctic air coming right on through just like this. And, you could see your lower temperatures out here. That could support storm systems riding on through like this. Northern stream energy, southern stream energy, and then all of a sudden, you got a big old kaboom across these areas right within here. And we're really going to have to watch out for this pattern because we could be talking about, for sure, heightened snow chances on the horizon. And look at this, cold air continues, a very cold and stormy pattern for your central and eastern US. That just continues on through. And maybe as we get into late February, things begin to break down. Of course, we're going to be getting into spring by then, so things will become more unfavorable anyway. Just going to have to wait and see. I really don't think winter is anywhere near done just yet. I think we've got more action right on the way. European extended seems to think so as we look at our snowfall. Take a look at how far south your 6-inch line goes again. Oh boy, remember what we were tracking before our storm system? Yeah, we're starting to kind of get that look once again. Our 2-inch snow line going really far south there. So absolutely going to be talking about cold and snowy conditions as we get into early, mid, late February. that is starting to look more likely. As we look at our Mad-Julian oscillation here, we are progressing through phases 7 down here, going into phase 1. That is going to favor a lot of winter weather activity, and then maybe heading into the circle of death, but by that time, due to atmospheric lag, it could already be warming up anyway, so yeah, we're going to be heading into a pretty favorable part of winter during climatological maximum, something we're really going to have to watch out for. With that being said, thank you all so much for tuning into today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Apologize, this video is a little bit late. I kind of underestimated the amount of time it would take to make the video, but still expect uploads at 4:30 p.m. Central Time going forward. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to my little corner of the weather community, share this video with friends and family on social media, and you all have a wonderful night, everyone. Stay weather aware if you're along your eastern coast here. Could be talking about a pretty big storm system later this week.